Hey ladies, welcome, welcome. I think we are live. All right, so welcome to our workshop today. Today we are here for Grow Your Glutes in Perimenopause. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Courtney, I'm the admin of this group. I'm a certified personal trainer. I've been certified since 2010. I also have a degree in exercise specialist, and I work with perimenopausal women and I help them lose fat and build muscle without depriving diet. So I'm really excited to do this workshop today. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and honestly, it was kind of random yesterday. I'm like, you know what? I really want to do a workshop. So I made it happen in 24 hours. So thanks so much for being here. First of all, before we get started, I can't see if anyone's live, but I would really appreciate if you guys would let me know how my sound is, okay? That's going to be really, really important. I need to know immediately if my mic is not working properly. But I wanted to wear my mic today so that way you guys can hear me. We will be doing some exercises, so I'll be moving around, so I definitely wanted to wear my mic today so you guys can hear me loud and clear. So let me know how the sound is. But thanks so much for being here. I'm really excited because a lot of you are in this age group, 40s, 50s, and dealing with some changes in perimenopause, or some of you all might be menopausal. And a lot of the common complaints that I hear from my clients and also my friends is things like it's hard to lose weight in perimenopause or menopause. It's hard to build muscle. You know, my body is changing really rapidly. The things that I used to do just don't seem to work like they do, how they used to when I was younger. And I'm going to tell you right now, none of this is your imagination. Yes, it is more difficult to lose weight and keep it off. It's more difficult to build more muscle. There's a lot of reasons for this, and some of it is psychological, so or physiological. Can't even say the word, but a lot of this is physical things. So with perimenopause, as you might know, our hormones are changing, and a lot of them are taking nosedives right now. So if you're in the midst of perimenopause, or if you're menopausal, meaning that it's been over a year since you've had a menstrual period, that is when you are menopausal. A lot of times we have a decrease in estrogen, we have a decrease in progesterone, and also a lot of us will experience some dips in testosterone as well. And all of these things are going to impact us, right? It impacts our energy and motivation to move and to exercise. It can also make it harder to put on muscle mass. That's a big one that testosterone does help with, is building more muscle mass. So it's not your imagination if you feel like your body is changing, you're starting to feel different. All of those things are totally valid, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm right there with you, okay? So know that you're not alone. A lot of women are dealing with this. But also, so basically with what happened with me, I started training in 2010, and from the get-go, I was training mostly women in their 40s and 50s. And I remember like not really knowing a lot about that world of menopause. I didn't really understand a lot about hormones back then as a new personal trainer. But what I remember in the early days of my career was I would work with a lot of these women, and they had these same complaints about weight loss is difficult. I don't look toned. I work out and nothing seems to be changing. And that really stuck with me. And I think that is why, because most of my clients were women in their 40s and 50s, and they had these same complaints. And throughout the years, I worked with a lot of different people, but just in the last 10 years or so, that's when I really started shifting to working with this population specifically. So, yeah, I worked with men in the past. Yes, I've worked with younger women, but now I love working with menopausal women, perimenopausal women, and now I'm actually in that demographic as well. So I actually really enjoy learning about all of this, because here's the thing, I have a different mindset about this. You know, like, I hear all the time from my clients, like, oh, my doctors are just saying, like, you know, basically, like, just deal with it, like, just accept that this is how things are. And I just kind of feel like that's irresponsible, because I do think that there is things that we can do as women to have better results with fat loss and muscle building. And a lot of the things that the weight loss industry and the fitness industry tells us to do is really not doing us any favors. So I've really delved in, especially in the last, I say probably the last 4 years, I really dove into the world of learning about hormones, learning about perimenopause, learning about menopause, and also trying to figure out like what actually does work. Like what do we need to do in order to be successful with fat loss and be able to maintain that fat loss? What do we need to do in order to have more muscle? And, a lot of this is about looking good. I'm not going to lie. Like a lot of what I teach as a trainer, it's aesthetics. It's about looking good, right? Because who doesn't want to look good? But also, I do want to argue that muscle is really important, and not just for vanity reasons, but also just to stay fit and functional. That's really, really important as we get older. In fact, like I'm watching my own father. He's just really weak. He had some health issues earlier this year, and it's been really scary and sad to just see how fast health can go downhill if you do not have a good base of muscle. So this is why I'm such an advocate of weightlifting, because not only is it going to make you look better, but you're going to be stronger. You're going to be able to carry out activities of daily living so much easier. And it's just going to add longevity and more quality years to your life. So this is exactly why I love weight training. But what we're going to be doing today is really just answering your questions, and I just want to provide value for you all. I will say this before we get going. Go ahead and comment. Actually, you can either comment, let's say comment growth, or at the end of this live stream, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to download the Glute Growth Guide. This is everything that I did myself to go from pancake flat to booty pop. And it includes the 4 exercises that we're going to be talking about today. And there's also going to be a mini workout with video tutorials of all of the exercises in the mini workout. There's also some great technique tips. So this is actually a workout that you all can do at home. And all you need is a booty band and a set of dumbbells for this workout. And then let's see, there is also a nutrition piece. So there is a little nutrition piece that you can totally make customized. There is a TDEE calculator, which basically is going to give you how many calories that you burn in a day. This is really useful information, and we go into that more depth with this Glute Growth Guide. So go ahead and comment growth, and I will send that over to you. It's completely free. It will put you on my email list, but I will also say this. I get compliments all the time about my emails. I get messages from acquaintances and also people that are just on my email list like, oh my gosh, Courtney, this is so great. Like, I did not even realize this. So I will say that people love my email list, but hey, it's not going to hurt my feelings. If you want to just download it and you don't enjoy my emails, or you just don't think that, this is for you, it's not going to hurt my feelings. You can unsubscribe. But I do want to offer you that because I don't want you guys to just watch this workshop. I actually want you to put this into action, okay? All right, so that being said, thanks so much for being here. If you're live, will you let me know? I really want to know if my mic sounds good, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to go over some common mistakes that women make. And I'm going to say this right now, a little disclaimer. This isn't saying that you're doing anything wrong, okay? That's not what it is. It might be that you were taught wrong. And I will also say this, I made every single one of these mistakes as a personal trainer. So it's really embarrassing for me to admit that. But here's the thing, guys, like, everywhere, the weight loss industry, the fitness industry, they tell us all of these things that we need to be doing. And what's freaking funny as hell is that once I stopped following conventional advice out there from the diet industry and the fitness industry, that's when my body started to change. So if you guys are here, I know a lot of you want weight loss or fat loss. Please stick around, because here's what I want you to know. I know a lot of you have that goal as your primary goal. but also muscle is going to make you look better, okay? So even if you do have a weight loss goal, please stick around. And I'm also going to argue your workouts really should be the same whether your goal is to build muscle or to lose fat. There's not going to be really any difference there. The way it's different is your nutrition is going to be different, okay? So it doesn't really matter what your goals are. So even if you want to lose weight, I still want you to watch this workshop if that is your goal, because building muscle is actually going to make fat loss way easier, and you're going to look better when you do lose the weight, okay? So I do encourage you, even if you're not really like, oh, I don't really want like bigger glutes, and that's totally fine. But this is really just going to be super beneficial for you, even if muscle building isn't your primary goal, okay? So let me know. So what we're going to do, we're going to dive into the 4 mistakes that are very common. I made these even as a personal trainer, and honestly, like a lot of these mistakes were not that long ago for me. Like things really just have changed within like the last 2 years or so. That's when I really started doing things differently. All right, ladies. So number 1 is not having a program, okay? So this was me for a long time. I am actually self-taught. I've never worked with a trainer. I did do some group fitness classes, but I actually have way more experience leading them than I ever did like taking classes. So that being said, you know, I just kind of made it fun, and I would like make up my own little routines. But honestly, like my routines or my program was just very random. It didn't really like have any science or reasoning behind it. It was really just like, let's make this fun. And I'm going to say this is that I think that's really the biggest mistake, because here's why you need a good routine, okay? And what I mean by like a plan or routine is really like, this is what we're doing this day. This is what we're doing the next day. And you might have like some variations in those exercises, but like we're doing a squat this day, we're doing a hinge exercise this day, right? We're doing an abduction exercise, which we're going to go over all that here in just a little bit, okay? But having a solid plan, and that is going to also include doing the same program over and over and over again. Now, I know there's like this belief out there that mixing it up is a good thing. And this was really big when I became a trainer back in 2010. But here is really the reality, is that if you want to build muscle, it's not going to come from mixing it up all the time. It's really going to be improving the same exercises over and over and over, and adding more weight and progressive overload, which we're going to be talking about here in just a minute. Hey, if anyone is live, can you let me know in the comments if this sounds okay? I have a mic on, and I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me loud and clear. So if you're here, if you can give me a thumbs up maybe in the comments, let me know if you can hear me, okay? But we're here live. We're just talking about how to grow glutes in your 40s, or just build muscle in general. And the first mistake is just not having a program, okay? So we want to have a well thought out program that is going to repeat exercises and also has progressive overload. So basically, progressive overload is increasing the weight load. It is having more time under tension. It's increasing the reps or the sets, that type of thing, having bigger range of motion. So we definitely need to have that in place, okay? And we're going to be talking about that a little bit more. But the belief that you need to mix it up is just not true. You're actually going to be better off doing the same exercises, but progressing them with time than you are going to be just doing random exercises. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. But just throwing this out there, I do have my membership for Women Lean Physique. I do have a small wait list right now for it, but inside Lean Physique, you have a complete workout program for a woman over 40 who wants to look more toned, okay? Super easy to follow. We have videos for every exercise, technique tips, and we also have variations and substitute exercises. So that way, if you just want to mix it up a little bit, or you don't have access to a certain piece of equipment, you could totally like swap exercises out. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I do have a free 2-week trial. But I do have a small wait list. So if this is something that you're interested in, reach out now. You guys can send me a direct message and I can put you on this wait list and you'll be the first to know when a spot opens up. But you can totally try it for free for 14 days. And if it's not for you, then no hard feelings at all. You can totally cancel, okay, before you get drafted on your first payment. And then it's $89 a month until you cancel. And there's no commitment at all. There's no contract or anything like that, or minimum amount of time you need to spend in the membership. I have it set up as a membership so that way, you know, if you just need a few months and get some coaching and get your routine down, that's great. I also have some people that have been in my membership for over a year. So let me know because I do have a small wait list. So moving on to the second mistake that women make when it comes to building muscle is not implementing progressive overload, which we just talked about that. So again, that is not just like adding more weight. I think that's what a lot of people think. And that is one component, but it's also going slower, like having more time under tension. It's having better range of motion, like going deeper into a squat or a lunge. And it's also increasing like sets and reps and things like that. And I also think that is just improving your form in general. And that's really a lot of it. Like, you know, if you're just slopping through the motions when you're weight training, you're probably not going to get as good as results than if you are like, you know, thinking about the muscle that is being worked, properly engaging those muscles, and making sure that you're not rushing through the exercise. There's really a lot that can be done with just simply improving. So going back to the first mistake, this is exactly why we want to just repeat the same exercises. We want to get stronger at them. And we want to have better form because you're just going to get more out of it. Okay. So adding progressive overload is really, really important. So I highly suggest if you guys lift weights, get like a little fitness journal. I love this so much. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my Amazon wish list that I have inside of my membership for women lean physique. I don't earn commission on it. It's literally just things that I like. So workout journals, and then I have like some other props like booty bands. We'll be going over that here in a little bit. But having some kind of fitness journal is great. I love this. I got off at Amazon for like $8. But it has like, you can track like, you know, things like your body composition and your measurements. So that's kind of nice. Notice I haven't done that. I really like this too. It has like different things that you can track. You can track your weight, your body fat. You could also just like pick your own thing that you can track your progress on. And then I'll show you what the actual page looks like. I'll just show you like with the writing in there. So you just put like, you know, all the info up here, like the day and what kind of workout it is. And then I just put every exercise that I do, and then it has a spot for like your weight load and then also the reps. Here's why this is important. Okay, first of all, most of us can't remember what we did last time. So it's like you spend like that first set like, oh, that was too light, and then, oh, that's too heavy, right? So by doing this, you're going to be able to know like, hey, this, you know, this is what worked for me last time. I'll probably, based off of the reps, I'll probably go ahead and keep with this. Or, hey, I did 20 reps last time. That means it's time to go up in weight, okay? And not only that, this is actually really motivating because I actually keep my old ones. I have like my two of these that are like from a year or two ago. And it's so awesome to go back and see how far I've come. So for me, it's super motivating. My clients love this as well. So I highly recommend it. It's like $10, y'all. Like, this is so great. And this will last you probably most of the year. I don't think it quite lasts me a year. I work out 4 to 5 days a week. But yeah, really great investment. Or if you just want to use like the notes on your phone, or even just like an old school notebook, like a pocket notebook or something, that'd be great too. So progressive overload is really one of the things that I see women, like the mistake that they make because they're just lifting too light. Guys, like it should be hard toward the end, right? Like if you feel like you can lift that weight all day, it's probably too light. It should feel like you should be kind of grunting a little bit, like your heart rate should be rising. It should feel difficult to get the last couple reps in, okay? Let me know if you guys have any questions about progressive overload, but that is one thing that I see a lot of people miss, okay? Mistake number 3. Okay, too much rest, or I'm sorry, too much cardio / not enough rest, okay? So let's talk about cardio real quick. Now, I'm not talking about just doing like 1 to 2 cardio sessions a week. Here's what I see. With women's programming, cardio is overused, okay? I'm just gonna say it. Cardio is overused. I get it, like most people have a fat loss goal, but I'm also gonna argue here, doing a whole bunch of cardio and HIIT is not the way to lose fat, okay? There's a couple reasons why. It can increase your hunger and your cravings, causing you to unintentionally overeat, because it expends a lot of calories, which is a good thing, but that can backfire is what I'm saying. The other issue with cardio is that it's catabolic. Like, it's just science. Like, it will literally break down your muscle tissue if you do too much. I'm not talking about, doing a couple cardio sessions a week. I think that's totally fine. But my argument is that there's so many women's programming that has a lot of cardio, has a lot of HIIT, and I just don't think it's necessary. Like, if you have a goal of building muscle and you want to look more toned, you're not going to get that way from doing more cardio, right? Like, I mean, it's just not, it's not going to be optimal if you want a toned look, if you want more muscle, okay? So that's another thing that I see. So I see like a lot of workout programs that will have you do like basically like a strength move, and then in between you'll do some kind of cardio, like maybe you'll do some burpees or some jumping jacks or some mountain climbers. Honestly, I want you to just sit there. Like, I would rather you sit there and rest, and here's the reason why. When you're doing cardio in between your sets, you're actually putting your strength gains, you're leaving strength gains on the table. And what I mean by that is you're not going to be able to lift as heavy if you are doing cardio in between. It's going to make you tired. It's going to make you tired faster, and that's going to cause you to lift lighter. It's probably going to cause you to lift less reps. You're probably not going to be able to complete as many reps than if you just sat there or stood there for 1 to 3 minutes. So that's what I recommend. I see a lot of people, they're just kind of like breezing through their workout. So even if they're not doing cardio, like if you're just going really fast through your workout and you're only resting like 30 seconds, you're probably not lifting heavy enough, and you're probably not training as intensely as you probably could if you rested a little bit longer. So I do think that cardio has a place. Like, I'm going to start doing cardio again in September. I'm going to be doing a mini cut. I just have a goal of losing about 5 to 8 pounds just to kind of, slim down a little bit. I've been focusing on building muscle for 2.5 years, so I'm just ready for something different, and I am going to start doing some cardio. But yeah, like, there's definitely nothing wrong with doing cardio. And if you like doing cardio, that's great. But I'm just saying, from a aesthetic standpoint, if you want to look more toned, if you want to build more muscle, then that's exactly what you need to do. You need to probably do less cardio and do more weight training, okay? And I will also say, you do not need to do cardio and weights together. That's probably like the worst thing that you can do. I know it sounds efficient, and you're probably going to burn a lot of calories doing that, yes. But again, it's going to interfere with your muscle building results. You're just not going to be able to build as much muscle because you're going to be tired. You're not going to be able to lift as heavy. Okay. So if you have any questions about that, let me know, because I know this can be kind of confusing. But nothing against cardio. It's just, I think that a lot of women's programs they're just not designed properly, especially for a perimenopausal woman. We need to have a lot less cardio than a lot of these programs have. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions, but we're going to move on to the last mistake, and then we're going to go into all the exercises. So we have 4 today that we're going to be covering, but the last one is overtraining, just overtraining in general. So this was me even just like 5 years ago. I used to work out, like, first of all, I used to teach a lot of fitness classes. Like, there was a time for like, how long was that? 4 or 5 years. When I was single, I was teaching like 20 classes a week, like sometimes more. Like, it was like anywhere from like 16 to like 24 classes a week. And on top of that, I was also weight training, usually like 3 to 6 days a week. And then there was some cardio in there as well. So basically, I never had a day off because I was either teaching or I was lifting, and I was honestly doing way too much with my own routine. I did not need to do all that. Because at the time, I thought that's what I had to do, right? Like, I think that's a lot of us, like, oh, I'll just work out more. Like, maybe that's going to solve the problem. Y'all, honestly, like, exercising less is better because you're going to have more rest and better recovery, and you're going to be able to push yourself harder. So I actually went from like working out 6-7 days a week. Now I work out 4, maybe 5 days a week. And honestly, 5 is almost too much. I can do 5, but it's a doozy. But 4 has really been my sweet spot. And you know what I do? I just focus on getting my steps. Like, I think that is so underrated. Y'all, walking is awesome. I love walking. Like, people are like, oh, it doesn't burn a lot of calories. I'm like, it actually does. If you focus more on like just moving throughout the day, like I don't even try to like walk fast. I just go for steps. I just try to hit about 8K a day. But this is going to do you much more justice in this point in your life versus just doing a bunch of cardio. So let me know if you have any questions about that. And really the reason is because walking is not going to spike your appetite and trigger cravings like walking does, right? Like higher intensity type cardio, yeah, you're going to be burning a lot of calories, but I see it all the time. Hunger increases, cravings increase, and then unintentionally overeating happens. So what we can do to control our appetite is to walk instead versus, just trying to work out every day. And the other thing is that I see this a lot, especially with people that have sedentary jobs. And, there's really not a lot you can do about that. You just do what you can, as far as like getting movement in. That's definitely a challenge for a lot of my clients inside Lean Physique. But, a lot of people are very active. They're working out 6 days a week, but then they're sedentary. Like they're getting like 2,000 steps a day. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is one of the things that needs to change. If you want to be successful with fat loss, you need to walk more. You need to move more during the day. So it's really insane how much just having some kind of tracker, some kind of wearable device like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, and just really just like paying attention to how much you're moving, that can add up to hundreds of calories a day. So, which means, bigger calorie budget, right? All of those things. So those are the 4 mistakes that I see women make. And again, I'm not trying to like call anyone out. Like these are literally things that I did myself. So don't feel bad. But the reason why I wanted to do this workshop today is because like I hear this all the time. Again, like, I'm perimenopausal, menopausal, I can't lose weight, I can't build muscle, I'm working out. Like if you're working out 5-6 days a week and your body isn't changing, something is off, okay? Now, it could be your nutrition, which we're not really going to go into today because that's going to be like a 2-hour live stream if I do that. But don't forget, comment growth, and I'll send you my free glute growth guide. And there's actually a very easy to follow nutrition plan that you can totally like personalize to you. Yeah, and it's completely free, y'all. So just comment growth and I will send you that guide, okay? And what we're gonna do next, we're gonna go over all of those exercises are inside the free guide so that way you guys can see it in real time, okay? We're gonna go ahead and get started. So let's do squats first. I'm just gonna move this out of the way. Don't go anywhere. All right, y'all. Okay, so the first movement is going to be a squat, okay? I'm going to show you tons of ways that you can do this, but a squat, or it can be a lunge, really the same kind of movement pattern, but really, I would say most leg days or glute days, you should have some kind of squat in it. Now, the problem with squats, they can be hard to recover from. So honestly, I do squats usually no more than twice a week. But I'm just going to show you some body weight squats. So you're going to have your feet a little wider than hip distance. I personally like to turn my toes out slightly, okay? And then you're going to push your hips back first, and then you're going to start to bend your knees. As you do this, you want to try to keep your chest up. Ideally, I want you guys to try to get down to parallel. If you can't, that's totally okay. You might have to work up to that. If you're not able to get down to parallel, a few things, you might be tight in your calves. So doing some calf stretches like this, having one leg forward and then putting your heel all the way down and then shifting that weight to that front leg. That's a good way to stretch out your ankles and your calves. I would highly recommend that. You'll know if your heels come up like this when you squat, more than likely it's going to be an ankle issue. So you'll know then, hey, I probably just need to stretch my calves out. The other thing, I know for me, it was actually my hip flexors. If you're tight here, sometimes you might have issues with getting down to parallel. So just real quick, I'll show you this great stretch that if you're sedentary, like at work, this is a really good one as well. But just coming into like a lunge position like this, one leg forward, other leg back, and then shifting your weight forward. That's a really good way to just open up that front of the hip, okay? It could also be an adductor issue. So doing a stretch like this, like on the floor, having your feet together, and then just hinging forward until you feel that stretch. But those are usually the culprits of not being able to get down to parallel. But it also might just be that you need to just practice this exercise, right? So again, feet a little wider than hips. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. I need to go a little bit wider so I can get that depth. And making sure that your hips are actually going back. So it should feel like you're sitting in a chair, right? So see how it looks like I'm sitting down? That's how it should look. A few ways you guys can do this with weights. You can do a suitcase carry like so. You could also do a goblet squat like this. You could also do a front squat. I kind of hate these though. It's just uncomfortable to squat like that. This puts a lot of emphasis on the quads, so that's kind of good. But once you get up to like 20, 25 pounds, it really gets hard to keep your weights up here. So I generally suggest people that are working out at home with dumbbells by your side or goblet. Okay, or you could also hold it this way if you wanted to. Hinge sumo squat, I like this one a lot. This one's inside lean physique. You're gonna have a little bit wider stance, not much, but slightly wider. Toes are gonna be turned out. The dumbbells are gonna be in front like this, and you're gonna hinge. Okay, like you're gonna do some rows. Stay in that hinge. It's like that. Adductors, so inner thighs, quadriceps, and glutes. Here's a good option because this can become a problem if you've been lifting weights for a while. You might outgrow your weights. So meaning you're going to get to a point where dumbbells are just going to be hard to like challenge your muscles efficiently. So I like to do some one leg options. So the first one is a B stance. So basically you're going to have one leg forward, other leg back. Your weight's going to be on the front leg. So I have 80% of my weight on my front leg. So this right leg is really just like just really to keep you stable, okay? There's also a lunge. So this one's another great option if you're at home and you have just limited dumbbells. Right? A little bit more challenging than like a regular squat. So those are the two options that I like if you have limited dumbbells. Take it to one leg, right? So if you guys have any questions about the squatting exercise, let me know. Pop that into the comments. But we're going to go ahead and move on to some RDLs. Okay. I'm going to teach you guys how to do an RDL, with a broomstick. This is great practice. Lots of great ways that you guys can improve your form. RDL is Romanian deadlift. I don't generally do traditional deadlifts. That's usually when you have a bar. It is a little bit different, and you're actually touching down every time. I like RDLs personally. You can do this with a barbell. You could also do this with dumbbells. So love this option. But with the RDL, you're going to have your feet hip distance. You don't need them this wide. I saw someone doing that at the gym today. I just wanted to say, hey, just bring your feet closer together, but feet right underneath your hips, okay? So what we're going to do, this is the barbell, okay? We're going to keep this really close. Like it should be like touching your legs as you hinge, okay? I'm going to lead with my hips, and my knees are going to be a little bit soft, and I'm going to bend them at the end. But for the most part, it's like a hip hinge, okay? Check this out. Now, a few things. Your back needs to stay flat, okay? The bar needs to stay close, or the dumbbells, or the broomstick. And we definitely do not want to round. So whether that is upper back like this, or rounding like your lumbar, we don't want to do that, okay? So here's a good little practice. You can take the broomstick, and then, hey, put it all the way up against your spine. Move my ponytail. So it touches your head, it's touching your sacrum, so like right at the base of your tailbone, and then, and also like right between the shoulder blades. So what we're going to do, just to make sure that we're staying neutral in a straight line with our spine, we're just going to do a couple deadlifts like this. Now, does your back need to be perfectly neutral? Probably not. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know I'm not doing that when I'm doing this, right? Yeah. And that's totally okay. As long as it's not excessive. And I'm also going to argue some people's posture, spine, they're probably going to have to round a little bit. And I'm one of those people, okay? But what we don't want to do is like, have your tailbone like tucked like this, tucked under, or a lot of excessive rounding, okay? But that is a really good way just to teach your brain how to stay in a neutral position, okay? Now, to bend or not to bend, it doesn't actually matter, but here's the difference, okay? If you're like if you're doing more like a stiff leg like this, where see how my knees, they're staying soft, but they're not bending anymore, that's going to be more hamstring focus, okay? If you bend your knees more, it's going to be more glutes. So this is the one I usually do with my clients, and I do myself. Do you see that? So once I'm around like where my knees are, I start bending my knees more. I'm still pushing my hips back, but I'm adding that little bend. But it's not a squat. Do you guys kind of understand that? Please put any questions that you might have in the comments. And hey, I want to know if this sounds okay. I have my mic on, so if anyone can pop in the comments and let me know, that'd be really, really helpful. I want to make sure I don't have to do this again, all over again. Not that I don't like doing this, but But, okay, couple variations. So we went over the form and the technique. Let's go over some variations, okay? So the first one, this is great for at home. So if you have limited dumbbells, this is a great one to do. Do a B stance, okay? So same thing. Remember how we just did the squat? Same thing, but in an RDL. So we have a stagger stance. I'm going to keep my weight on this front leg, okay? Now I'm just keeping this back foot as light as I can. Now, if I need to put a little more weight on that back foot, that's totally fine. And I will say this, y'all, you want stability. You do not need to be wobbling around, okay? This is with RDLs like this or lunges or anything like that. It's not more core to be less stable. You want stability, okay? So anything that you can do, holding onto a chair or a wall is not cheating. In fact, you're probably going to have better form and you're probably going to get better results from having more stability. But this is a really good way to target just the front leg, especially if you have limited weights, okay? I just did this with one of my clients for the first time today, and it like blew her mind. She's like doing almost 100 pounds with a barbell RDL, and then I handed her some 30s, and we did these, and she's like, oh my God. So yeah, it just feels a little bit different. Substitute exercises. I'm not big on these, but you could do good mornings with a barbell. Do you guys see how like it's literally the same thing? It's just a different exercise. So the weight is here, right, across your shoulder blades. I'm not big on these, these tend to hurt my back a little bit versus loading this way. So it is going to put a little bit more pressure on your spine. You're going to have to probably go pretty light, but people do like them. They're okay. I just don't ever do them. Also the Roman chair at the gym. You know that thing where you put your feet in and you're like at an angle and you go down and then you come up? You'll see people like holding a weight plate. Yeah, that's how I did those today actually at the gym. So those are hinges, okay? So we talked about RDL, B stance RDL, which is basically the staggered stance, and then also good mornings and Roman chairs, okay? Love Roman chairs. Those are great too. So if you guys have a gym membership, go use that piece of equipment. It's awesome. I love it. All right, guys. So that was RDLs. I think that's all I wanted to say about that. Why don't we go ahead and we'll do abduction next since I'm standing. All right. So inside the Glute Growth Guide, I have a link to my favorite booty bands. I really like these because they're cloth. I like these better than the elastic. These are a really good size. Like I feel like for most people, like most of my clients, they like these because they fit right. You know, some of those booty bands are like really small and they're elastic and it's hard to get in and out of. These are great. These are way more comfortable. They don't cut off your circulation or dig into you. They're super cheap, but I like this because it comes with a light and a medium and a heavy. So you guys can start light and then you can work yourself up. So I will post the link to my Amazon wish list, my Lean Physique wish list. Again, I don't get commissions for this. This is like literally what I use for myself and my clients. So I'm going to drop that in the comments for you guys. And then it's also in the Glute Growth Guide as well. All right, so let's go over abduction, which means away, right? So here's what you can do. There's a few ways. So like I said, like all of these exercises, they have variations, right? Like, so I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can do this, but you're just going to step into the booty band and then you want it like, you don't want it too high because if you have it like hiked up like that, like I can't feel anything, right? So one thing, make sure you don't put it on like a mini skirt. You want it like, you want it just right above your knees. Like that's probably like 2 inches above my knees. All right, so use a chair. Like I said, it's not more core, and no, it's not cheating. We're not trying to work core anyway, so we're trying to work legs. All right, so one of the most basic ways that you can work your glutes via abduction, and this is really just going to target this tiny muscle right here. It's a glute muscle. It's called the glute medius. This is a really good way to isolate that muscle specifically. But what you're going to do, you're going to shift your weight to the inside leg, keep the knee bent, and just make sure you're not like leaning into the wall or the chair. You want to think up, reaching out through the crown of your head. And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to scoot over so you can see my leg better. We're just going to move the leg away from the body. And then you're going to get to a point where it's like, okay, that's about as far as I can go. As we do this, you want to keep your hips squared. So meaning we don't want to wobble around. We want to keep both hips forward and still as we move the leg out and in. Now notice when I start to come in, I'm not coming all the way in. Okay, that's important. I want you to think about stopping when you start to feel like this tension's going away and then start that next rep. Okay? Like that. And of course, you're going to do the other side. Okay, other ways that you can do this, you could also, before we do that, I did want to show you this. This is in the Amazon wish list. I love this. My client, Mandy, she actually found this, and I freaking love her for that because I didn't even know this thing existed. This is like a home cable station. How cool is this? So it goes under your door, and then you just shut it, right? And it's anchored nice and tight, and then it has these things. So you just put your ankle in, and then you just strap this on, and you can do the same exercise standing with this. It's freaking awesome. You could also do like kickbacks, so we're not really going to go over that today, but you could totally do this with the band or with the cable station, so going backwards. This is going to be more like glute max, so more like right here, like the lower part of your glute. Those are good too. Those are in the membership. And also, just so you know, you can also use ankle weights. So all of these products are inside of the Amazon wish list, okay? Which I'm going to post here in a minute. But anyway, I just want to show you one other way that you can do abduction. So that's what's great about this, guys. It doesn't have to be boring. You know what I mean? Like, you can do different exercises. But we just want to kind of like, you know, as you guys are kind of seeing, like, we're doing a squat, we're doing a hinge, abduction, and we're going to do a bridge later, okay? But we have all these great different variations, and it really doesn't get old to me, honestly. Okay, so these are fire hydrants. I really, really like these. So I'm just in hands and knees, and then I'm just moving the whole leg out. You can add some pulses at the top. You can go out and like pulse like a whole set, right? That actually burns both sides pretty good, okay? So that's abduction, and if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you're at the gym, you can do this on a cable station. I have like these ankle cuffs that you could put on and you just attach to the cable station. Love doing that. And then there's also the seated abduction machine. Have you guys ever seen that? Some people call it like the birthing machine or the gynecological machine. But basically you have like these little like pads that go on the outside. Outside of your legs, and you're pushing outward. So that's a really good machine as well. So all of those things is going to target that little tiny glute muscle right here, okay? And that's really important as we get older, guys. Here's the reality. If you're my age, older, we need to be concerned about hip health, okay? So one of the most common injuries with older adults is fractured hips. So doing these types of exercises, like I said, you know, like I know a lot of the things that I do is for looks, is for looking better, but it's also for aging better, y'all. Like if you have weak hips, like it's just not good. So doing these exercises are really good. When I used to work with seniors, I worked with seniors for 7 years. I was a personal trainer for seniors, and we did all sorts of hip work. Totally recommend it. If you're wanting to age well and be independent as long as possible, do your hip work, okay? So we have one more. Let me know if you guys can hear me. But sometimes I can't see comments. So I will say that if you guys are commenting and I'm not responding, that's why. But I will go ahead and check out the comments as soon as we're done. But the last thing we're going to do here is a bridge. I was going to show you a hip thrust, but honestly, I have my bench, like my weight bench, is a little too high for my height, so I never do them here. So I'm just going to show you how to do a bridge on the floor. But if you guys download the Glute Growth Guide, it's totally free. I actually have two options. You can do the glute bridge or you can do the dumbbell hip thrust. I have a video for that. So that walks you exactly through how to do that. And I will say this is content from my membership. My paid membership. Okay, so like it's good. It's good stuff. All right, so let's go over glute bridge. Couple ways that you guys can do it. So just body weight, knees bent 90, feet on the floor, and then feet are going to be hip distance apart, or you can go slightly wider. That's really just going to be a preference. I'm going to make sure that my shoulders are wide on the floor and I'm not like crunched up in my shoulders. Okay, and my arms are down like this. And I want to look up. Okay, so now I'm in a straight line from shoulders down to my knees. Now, do I need to come? No, you don't need to come up this high. Now I'm starting to get out of my neutral and I'm starting to arch. But also this, you're probably not getting full potential because your glutes are not going to kick in until here, okay? Here I don't feel glutes, here I feel glutes. Here's too much. Okay, so we just want to stop until we feel that squeeze at the top. We have this nice straight line. The front of your hips should be lengthened. And just move slow, 2-3 seconds on the way up and down. Whoop. A little bit too much there, got a little cramp. And then I want you guys to hold 1 to 2 seconds at the top. Okay. We could also add a weight. So I'll show you that way. You can do 2 weights. I do this all the time with my clients. We'll just stack weights. Okay, you could also do 1 leg. So I just set up the same way, and then walk your feet a little bit closer to the middle. Take 1 leg up. These are hard because you have to keep your hips level. Adding a weight. Okay, 1 more, frog glute bridge. So like I said, there's all sorts of ways you guys can mix this up, but you're still doing the same movement, right? So frog bridge, your feet are together. And I'm just balancing on the knife edge of my feet like this. So both knife edge of both feet are just down on the floor, and then the bottoms of my feet are together. I like this one too. This one always makes me cramp though. I don't really understand why. And it's just the right leg for some reason. These are fun. You can also do these on the Smith machine. Yeah, I like these a lot. But again, I'm not going to show you the hip thrust. Basically, with the hip thrust, you're putting your shoulder blades on a platform, like a step, like an aerobic step or like a weight bench. Same kind of idea, but you're like coming up into a bridge and your shoulders are on that platform versus on the floor. Okay, so that is bridges and hip thrusts. But again, if you guys want the tutorial to do a hip thrust, you guys can comment growth. I might even go ahead and put the page to sign up. I might just go ahead and put that in the comments as well. Again, guys, this glute growth guide is totally free, okay? Yes, it's going to put you on my email list, but like I was saying, people love my emails. Like, they're awesome. Like, I've been writing emails for years, and it's something that I actually really, really enjoy because I love just providing value for you guys. But it'll put you on my email list. But again, if you just want to get the guide and unsubscribe, that's totally okay too. It's not going to hurt my feelings. So no hard feelings at all. I just want to help you guys out because I hear all the time, like, I just don't think that, you know, weight loss is possible for me, or I'm not going to get toned. And I will tell you right now, I made all the same mistakes that you all did, okay, as a trainer, okay? Of course, there is, like I said earlier, there is a lot of nutrition involved. So making sure that you're eating the right amount of calories, making sure that you're not dieting all the time, because here's the thing, like, if you're dieting all the time, you're going to have a hard time putting on muscle because you need to eat adequately. And that was really my problem. For years, I literally believed that I had bad genetics. I was working out, like I was saying, 6-7 days a week, a lot of weight training too. And like my glutes were flat, but it was really because like I said, I made all of those mistakes, but I was also making mistakes with my nutrition. And that's really a lot of it. I was dieting too long. I was just eating like 1,500 calories, which that's not like a steep calorie deficit by any means, but you're not going to be able to put on a lot of muscle mass if you're always eating low calorie. So that's why I want you all to download this glute growth guide, because we go over some nutrition and it's totally adjustable for you. That's what's great about it. There's a calculator in there, and also some suggestions for not only calories, but also protein and carbs. So, totally free, guys. Like, download that. If you guys want me to do like a part 2 of this with nutrition, I totally can. Let me know in the comments. But I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap up. I don't see any questions, but I wonder if there's questions and I'm just not seeing them, because sometimes Facebook Live is like that. One more thing. Makes me really sad, but it makes me mad because I was scrolling through our group the other day and all of my videos are gone. So Facebook went from I always post replays, but Facebook went from being able to keep videos forever, like live stream videos, to it's like 3-4 weeks, and those are gone. So I'm going to make sure that I download this video and I can upload it back into our group so that way it stays forever. So I'm going to have to make sure I do that. And yeah, guys, comment growth. What I'm going to do, and that's going to give you, I'm going to send you my glute growth guide. I'm also going to put the link in the comments if you just want to get it, grab it there. And I'm also going to put my Amazon wish list in the comments as well. So that way you guys can check out the props. I think that's about it. But if you guys are watching the replay, I want you guys to say #replay and then ask any questions because, you know, like, it's totally fine to like ask questions after the live is over. So I want to hear from you guys. If you guys are watching the replay, #replay, and then any questions that you have, drop that into the comments. All right, guys, cheering you on. I really appreciate you all being here. Hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the group. All right, bye for now.